It's a new manager at Real Madrid, and yet somehow it's even bigger problems at the club.
February they are in a top moment, and today we have faced one of the best teams in the world, and let's see what happens in the final. But they have shown at a very good level, and we want to be there, but for sure it will take that.
Admitting that Real Madrid might not be the best team in the world as they used to be, understanding the issue between the two players that cost the previous manager his job, trying to fit new players into his system at the cost of old ones, and more importantly, getting two new signings that could become a fix to a solution that's becoming even bigger for Real Madrid. Xabi Alonso might have the biggest job in the world on his hands, but in reality, that position could be the end of him. It really sucks to be in Xabi Alonso's shoes right now. It's one thing for a manager to lose, it's another thing for a manager at Real Madrid to lose. It's an even bigger thing for a manager at Real Madrid to lose like they did to PSG. That 4-0 result, as bad as it was, still had some elements of luck to it. Thibaut Courtois still had to pull off 3 world-class saves. PSG took their foot off the gas for the large parts of the second half. Point is, Real Madrid could easily have been 6 or 7 down against the PSG team, and it's not even flattering. It was also crushing for Xabi Alonso. There's something about PSG's third goal that also sticks out. PSG completed 15 passes en route to the third. They carved through this Real Madrid team, the same one that seemed to be getting a tactical identity under Xabi Alonso. It was a damaging result, but it also taught Xabi Alonso a couple of lessons about his team, and the first one was a modification of the debate that ultimately ended Carlo Ancelotti's tenure as Real Madrid head coach.
We saw Real Madrid in midweek and in the last few games when Vini Jr. hasn't been playing because of his suspension. Kylian Mbappe has been scoring goals and creating chances. But what is it that he's getting to do when Vini Jr. isn't playing?
The Mbappe versus Vinícius Jr. debate. It was the hot topic at Real Madrid for large parts of the 2024-25 season. How starting both caused the balance in the team to shift. It was a case of one performing well at the expense of the other. If Xabi Alonso ever needed a reason to understand why he can't attempt what Carlo Ancelotti did by trying to find ways to start both, the game against PSG was the answer. PSG dominated every aspect of the game. It's particularly annoying from a Real Madrid perspective, understanding that Xabi Alonso decided to change tactics specifically for this game. I mean, yeah, sure, you could make the argument that after the 1-1 draw against Al Hilal in the opening game, the remaining teams they played were, with no disrespect, lesser teams in terms of quality and players in the squads, and even that would be flawed considering that they played Juventus and Borussia Dortmund in that run. But the point is, after the draw against Al Hilal, that Real Madrid team started to take shape. Alonso used different tactical ideas that worked. From the 4-3-3 against Al Hilal, he went to a 4-2-3-1 against Pachuca, reverted to his usual 3 at the back with the 3-4-3 in the 3-0 win against RB Salzburg, and an orthodox 3-5-2 in the 1-0 win against Juventus. Used the same 3-5-2 system against Borussia Dortmund. That particular scoreline might have ended 3-2, but the truth is, bar the late meltdown they had, Real Madrid dominated that game for large parts. Just before we continue though, be sure to hit that subscribe button to Futbol Historia if you haven't yet for more content like this. We've gone through the formations in the games Alonso managed at the Club World Cup to show what the deal is. He was on a 4-game winning streak before that semi-final defeat. In that time, he found a system he used 3 games in a row that proved to be very effective. It's also very important to note that in those 4 games, neither Kylian Mbappe nor Vinícius Jr. started together. Mbappe was recovering from a gastrointestinal issue that kept him out for weeks. He came back and even scored against Dortmund. I guess the goal must have been so good it tempted Alonso to get him back into the team. He did. Mbappe's first start under Xabi Alonso, alongside Vinícius Jr., was a repeat of the same problems from last season. They both looked off. They both wanted to occupy the same spaces. Mbappe didn't press. Alonso was caught on camera having to almost shout at Mbappe to press. He changed the system to get both Mbappe and Vinícius into the team, and the results? They lost 4-0. Xabi Alonso now knows he can't have both in the team at the same time. But it's more than just moving one to a different position and keeping the other, and that's because the Xabi Alonso problem in Real Madrid's attack is more than just Kylian Mbappe and Vinícius Jr. now. It's got a third wheel that Alonso suddenly can't ignore. Gonzalo García. See, the Mbappe fitness issues that made him miss the start of the Club World Cup, coupled with Hendrik, the guy who'd usually replace him in that number 9 position. Well, the absence of those two meant Xabi Alonso could either make a makeshift option in the team or use an actual number 9 from the academy, something he used to be a part of. His choice? He gave Gonzalo García a full run in the team, and the kid didn't disappoint. 5 goal contributions in 6 games. Goals against Juventus, Borussia Dortmund and Salzburg. Xabi Alonso was so impressed impressed that in the clip above, he described Gonzalo García as reminding him of Raul with his movement and positioning. I mean, yes, the goals were great and crucial too, but let's be real, scoring goals in that attack wasn't exactly the issue with Real Madrid last season. It's the other thing that Gonzalo García brought to this Real Madrid team that made him a constant for Xabi Alonso in the starting lineup. It's how he led the line, how he pressed. Take the game against Pachuca as an example. Real Madrid went down a man early after Raul Asensio's red card, and yet by half-time, Gonzalo García led the stats for the most dribbles, most tackles, had 3 recoveries, and still topped it off with an assist. It might seem harsh saying this, but it's the truth. In 49 minutes, he'd shown more than what the Real Madrid attack had shown in 9 months. The hunger to press and win the ball back from the front. Xabi Alonso knows now with Gonzalo García he has a situation. He didn't just impress in 5 games, he became a solution. The team looked much better with an actual number 9, a player who knows what it means to play in the position and understands it. That's the problem for Xabi Alonso now. Imagine being him and having to find a way of fitting the trio of Gonzalo García, Vinícius Jr. and Kylian Mbappé into one team. I mean, he tried to do it against PSG, but as expected, it came at the cost of something. There was no balance in midfield. The team lost its shape. He dropped Gonzalo García from playing as an out-and-out centre-forward to playing on the right, and simply put, it didn't work. It's crazy how we've spoken about the problem with these two and still not mentioned the other players in attack. The problem Xabi Alonso faces with Rodrigo is an entirely different conversation on its own. I mean, at the start of his tenure as Real Madrid manager, he came out and said this. He said he'd spoken to Rodrigo, said Rodrigo was important to the structure and how he wanted to play the team, said he had a plan for him. Xabi Alonso said all of that, and yet at the Club World Cup, Rodrigo only started once, and that was the opening game against Al Hilal. He played a combined total of 27 minutes in the next 5 games for Real Madrid. A 23-minute cameo against RB Salzburg, only managed 4 minutes of action against Borussia Dortmund, didn't feature at all against Pachuca, Juventus and PSG, and when Alonso was asked about this, his response was cold. He just preferred other profiles of players. I mean, that says a lot. Players like Brahim Diaz are confined to bench or rotational roles. What happens to Endrick when he's back, with Gonzalo García now on the mainstream scene for Real Madrid? Would Alonso be open to letting Endrick leave on loan? These are the questions he's got to sort out in attack, but as the Club World Cup progressed, it also seems like right now, Xabi Alonso is trying to sort out issues in another area of the pitch. Per multiple reports, there have been rumours linking Liverpool's Ibrahim Konate to Real Madrid. The bigger picture here is that Xabi Alonso isn't completely sure of the options he's got. We saw the Rudiger and Raul Asensio disaster class against PSG. Both centre-backs each made errors leading to goals in the opening 30 minutes. They've already got Dean Howson, but it seems now Alonso wants to add another centre-back to the mix, Ibrahim Konate, because of how imposing and physical he is. Also, he's good on the ball as well. Now, this could be good for the team, but in the long run, where does it leave them? It's a position where Real Madrid seems to be overstacked. They've already got Antonio Rudiger, Dean Howson, Raul Asensio, Eder Militao, Jacobo Ramon, and David Alaba. Add another centre-back to the mix and that's 7. Good luck trying to get enough playing time for each. Then the focus shifts to right-back. If Xabi Alonso wanted to avoid this debate early on, he's going to have to find a workaround now. Dani Carvajal is back. He made his return from an ACL injury he picked up late last year with that brief cameo against PSG. You'd expect in the coming weeks he'd get up to speed. With more minutes under his feet, it'll eventually mean Xabi Alonso will get to a point where he has to make a decision. Unless he's planning to tweak his tactics to involve both, which would be very insane. Xabi Alonso will soon get to the point where he has to pick between starting either one of Trent Alexander-Arnold or Dani Carvajal. It'll come down to what he's willing to risk defensively and offensively, if he's willing to create more chances at the expense of giving a lot away as well. One thing Alonso seems to have gotten right so far is that balance in midfield. Arda Güler at the Club World Cup was a sensation. It wasn't even about the goals or the end product. It's how he looked like a possible long-term fit in midfield. He was able to drive the team and become a creative spark, forming link-ups with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Federico Valverde when the trio played. You think about this and then realize Real Madrid is still in the market for what the club believes could be a tempo-controlling midfielder, particularly after that defeat to PSG. Real Madrid's midfield looked lost. almost non-existent. Now that the Club World Cup is over, Xabi Alonso will be heading into the season without a key midfielder for an estimated 2 to 3 months. Jude Bellingham is finally said to have shoulder surgery, which rules him out of the action for the time frame we just mentioned. For this Real Madrid team, for what Xabi Alonso is trying to build, losing a player like Bellingham is a huge blow. See guys, the truth is, Xabi Alonso is in an unfancied position. He's the guy tasked with doing what most managers have historically failed to do at Real Madrid. Think about it. Think about every successful manager Real Madrid has had in recent years. From Mourinho to Ancelotti to Zidane. What's defined their eras of success hasn't necessarily been tactics. Rather, it's been relationships they've been able to build with players. Man management skills over ideas on a drawing board. Then you think about managers like Rafael Benitez, Santiago Solari, Julian Lopetegui. Managers who've come to Real Madrid in the past with track records of creating tactical identities at the clubs they've managed have ultimately come in and failed. Real Madrid has a history of failing to adapt to managers with tactical identities. Unfortunately, Xabi Alonso falls into this latter side of history. He established a tactical identity at Bayer Leverkusen. From fluid systems to a structured press both on and off the ball, that's what he's expected to try to bring to Real Madrid. It's clear that with some players, they'd be willing to make it work. Like Vinícius Jr. here, for example, speaking after his best game of the Club World Cup against RB Salzburg with a goal and an assist. He talked about Xabi Alonso trying to get him playing closer to goal by tweaking his positional shape and how he knows he has to adapt for this. For certain players like Kylian Mbappe, for example, Xabi Alonso has to coach them into understanding his tactical philosophy at the club. It's going to be a crazy watch with Alonso and this Real Madrid team. It's also ultimately going to depend on trophies at the club. For teams like Real Madrid, the idea is clear. We're talking about a club where sometimes even winning isn't enough. It's about winning in a certain style, winning the big games. Xabi Alonso has to come in and try to erase the memories of a 2024-25 season where Real Madrid failed to win any major trophies in Spain and the just concluded Club World Cup. He'd also know a season like that cannot happen under his tenure, else he's gone. That's the nature of the job he's walked into. It'll be really interesting to see how Xabi Alonso and this Real Madrid team unfolds next season. One thing that looks a certain now, though, is his relationship with Kylian Mbappe. It's clear if he's going to get the best out of him, things will have to change and change fast. Click the next video to find out why Kylian Mbappe might have a problem next season.